Thanks for clicking on to the Sunday edition of the video. It is the Global Weather and Climate Report edition 82, and it's the final Global Weather Report of Meteorological Winter 2023-24. Would you believe? Let me know in the comments section below what you think of how the winter has gone. I've got a pretty good idea, actually, what your opinion is going to be, especially if you're a winter weather lover like myself. You're also asking the question, why is he sitting in the car in the dark? Well, it is the early hours of this morning, Sunday morning. I'm down in Glasgow with my dear wife, who we are celebrating my 41st birthday, which was actually back on Friday. But we're down in the Central Belt for a couple of nights to celebrate my birthday, and I thought I'll do the video a little bit earlier. It will be published at the usual time, late Sunday afternoon, so bear with me with that. And also, no live stream today. It isn't the fact that last Sunday was a one-off. I will be doing, hopefully, another live stream next Sunday at around 4 p.m. So that will be scheduled for next Sunday at 4 p.m. edition 83 of the Global Weather Report, and it'll be the first of meteorological spring 2024. We have got yet another test coming up with regards to stratospheric warming. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of theory in the next few minutes with regards to what a few interesting thoughts that have been running through my head. But before I get there, we have seen not one, not two, but three strong stratospheric warming events during the course of the last 3 months, 3.5 months, I suppose. And we did see one back in the autumn season, coinciding with a favourable phase of the Madden-Julian oscillation. We did see the cold spell late November, early December. We've seen a stronger stratospheric warming that took place ahead of, again, another favourable Madden-Julian oscillation and a cold spell during the middle portions of January. We started off mild, we ended very mild, and the question is, what caused that change? Now, back the middle portions of last week, I did give you a lengthy video that explains where I think the winter changed and other aspects took control of the global weather pattern, that being El Nino. Southern Oscillation Index tanked to the lowest levels of winter for the 30-day mean, and by the SOI tanking, that is the response from ocean to atmosphere. And I think we did see the jet stream right the way around the northern hemisphere strengthen. We had near record strong jet stream winds over both the Pacific as well as exiting North America out into the Atlantic. We have seen tremendous amounts of warmth across North America, across Europe, and really I think the focal point of global warmth in recent times has been over the heart of Asia, where week after week, month after month of record-breaking warmth has been the case. And I'll get to that in just a wee second here. But what I think is causing these stratospheric warming events, despite the fact that the last one at least did not have really any cold influence on the northern hemispheric pattern, I think the El Nino essentially battled with the stratospheric warming, the El Nino winning that battle. But this is another stratospheric warming situation that's taking place at the moment. This is looking at the 70 HPA level, which is the lowest portion of the stratosphere. We're seeing the blocking taking place within the lower stratosphere from East Asia across the top and towards Greenland, North America, the Baffin Straits, North Atlantic here. And the question is, do we see this reflection at 500 millibars? Quite often in the past, we've seen stratospheric warmings taking place from the 10 millibar level. That then, over the course of 10 to 15 days, propagates that warming down through the stratosphere. It expands the stratosphere, it contracts the troposphere, and by contracting the troposphere, you're essentially shrinking the troposphere and forcing height rises, building of pressure underneath where that warming takes place. And what we're seeing here is the GFS in about a week from now is expecting this profile within 70 millibar level. And if you look at the ECMWF weeklies, this is the current 500 millibar geopotential height anomaly chart here. So if we look back, just keep this in mind, this image in your mind. If we play through this loop, you'll see what I'm talking about with regards to the height rises. So notice here we've got a lot of low heights, North America, across the Arctic region, and down from northern Greenland all the way down the western side of Europe here. We've got a strong ridge of high pressure over northeastern Europe at the moment here. We've got warming essentially on the Asia side of the pole. And this is, I'm going to get to this in just a second here, but if I play through these increments here, you notice the change that essentially starts to take place as we exit not only February but meteorological winter and step into spring 2024. Keeping in mind the stratospheric warming that we've just seen, watch how the modelling starts to see a flip around in the upper air pattern as we move towards the 9 through 16 of March. You notice there's quite a big difference here. We've now all of a sudden lost these negatives up over the top, replaced them essentially with some positives. Now you do notice here we have some negative on the Asia and Northwest North America side of the pole here, which is quite interesting. And I'm not going to bet my house on a cold pattern developing, and the reason why is because of what we've seen taking place with the El Nino and the overwhelming warming pattern. So it'll be interesting to see what takes place, what response we see within the 500 millibar pattern with regards to what took place with stratospheric warming number 3 of the 2023-24 winter season. So it's going to be an interesting test as the end game of winter, beginning of spring, kicks in. What type of pattern do we see across not just here, the UK, Ireland, and Europe, but also across the Northern Hemisphere? Another aspect that I want to look at here is with regards to the influence of warming within the 500 millibar pattern in such a broad scale, the influence that may be having, and part of the reason why we may be seeing these stratospheric warming situations taking place within the polar stratosphere. The polar stratosphere has not been particularly strong. You would think, given the type of winter that we've had, this, by the way, is the last 7 days, and look at how much warmth there is over North America. Look at Greenland, very, very warm over the last 7 days. UK and Ireland, Europe have been already criticised for saying the term blowtorch, but it is a blowtorch compared to what is considered average. Look at how much warmth there is dominating the last 7 days across the planet. But notice the core of the cold. It's over the heart of Asia, and incidentally, this is where we're seeing the strong warming within the 10 millibar level. And my thinking is this, folks, right? So this is the, let's have a look and see what the month to date looks like here. So this is February up until now, and you can see the levels of warmth. We've got some cooling taking place over parts of Western China versus the East, Mongolia. Now, I want you to think of the atmosphere in terms of the profile structure within the atmosphere. You've got the troposphere, you've got the stratosphere, you've got the tropopause in between the stratosphere and troposphere. Remember back to last summer, we had tremendous amounts of heat. China, the Koreas, Japan. We also seen a tremendous build-up of warmth over the Northwest Pacific. That tremendous build-up of warmth within the Northwest Pacific into the Sea of Japan, I think, had a contributing factor to the level of heat that we've seen from summer of last year through the autumn. Remember the countless and incredible records fallen, and not just by a small degree. These records were fallen in a huge way. Outstanding levels of warmth taking place over the central and eastern portions of the Asian continent. We also seen levels of warmth unseen as well across parts of Canada, and I mean in our lifetime. I don't want to get started with regards to this is the worst ever seen. You know my thoughts if you've been following me for some time with regards to the past, the past before we have been around. But what I want to say is this: see the build up of warmth, summer through the autumn and towards the winter season. I personally am asking this question. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. With regards to the level of heat being released within the lower stratosphere, or the lower portions of the troposphere, is that causing the troposphere to expand greater levels now? Remember, with the amount of warmth that we've got within the oceans, look at the Atlantic, and it's easier to get record heat than it is record cold, right? But with the expansion of the troposphere rising up to higher levels within the atmosphere than what you would typically have seen in years gone by, then as winter kicked in, we did see a lot of high latitude blocking during the autumn season and towards the early portions of the winter season, and then the release of cold south out of the Arctic towards the mid latitude pattern has the strong warming taking place within the mid latitude pattern during the autumn, summer, autumn, and into the early winter caused a ripple effect within the atmosphere to therefore create these stratospheric warmings. Because I do remember back in the early winter, there was a reason to believe that a lot of the warming within the stratosphere was actually from troposphere up into the stratosphere. So bottom up warming as opposed to the traditional top down warming. That is the question that I'm asking: is the warmth, global warmth, cause an impact to swell or broaden the tropospheric column, and therefore in turn with releases of cold out of the Arctic towards the mid latitudes, causing this ripple effect within the atmosphere to generate these stratospheric warmings? That is the question that I'm asking, and I would be curious to know what your thinking is. But it's just a thought with regards to how the pattern in the system is working and how things are developing here. I don't think it's a runaway train of carbon dioxide and the planet's about to blow up. I don't believe that's the case, but there's no denying the amount of warmth that we're seeing. Oceans, land areas, and atmosphere, and this winter is turning out to be one of the warmest on record for many portions of the northern hemisphere. But what really is going on? That is the big question. So it was just a mere thought that I had quite a lot of thinking time when I'm driving, and I thought I would share some of these thoughts with you because it looks as if we have got we're on our way to one of the warmest winters on record for the United States, northeastern United States as well. We also have the continuation of a snow drought over the United States, the smallest late February snowpack in 21 years. Looks as if we've got the lowest levels of Great Lakes sea ice on record also, which is quite interesting. But I want to quickly span through a couple of things here on Twitter before I end the video, because I want to get to my bed, if I'm being honest. But interesting how the warmth. This is Murlock, Northern Ireland, and this is a tweet back on the 20th of February showing that Murlock has seen a temperature of 14.5 Celsius, at least 14.5 Celsius, for an 8th consecutive day. This was dating back to the 20th, like I say. Pretty remarkable, actually, to see this temperature profile. Average being 6.8 Celsius, but Wednesday 17, Thursday 18. Remarkable temperatures. Friday 15, Saturday 15, Sunday 17, and temperatures of 15 Celsius. These would be temperatures that you would probably see, I would reckon, during late April, May. That 18, probably, you're talking about a June temperature. So the level of warmth that we're seeing is just pretty remarkable. But one thing I also want to point out, by the way, for short memories, is the fact that up until the 24th of January, the UK was average to slightly below average temperature-wise. But because February has been so mild, we forget what happened earlier in the winter. And I thought I would point that out to you, that it has been at times somewhat cold. A lack of snow, yeah, 100%. But nonetheless, it's been quite fascinating. By the way, this is Shanghai. So after countless waves of unusual warmth, we've had waves of cold as well, and this is part of the thinking behind this troposphere, the stratospheric warming taking place over Central and Eastern Asia. This was the scene from Shanghai Tower, and this was the first occurrence of freezing rain observed for the first time in over 150 years of records in Western Shanghai. So look at the ice buildup on the top of the Shanghai Tower due to bitterly colder temperatures, -40, -50 Celsius, pushing out of Siberia over Mongolia and into northern China. This collides with exceptional warmth further south, temperatures of as high as 38 Celsius in southern portions of China. Just remarkable contrast. It has been mind blowing, really, how the contrast of winter and almost summer-like warmth colliding over parts of Asia. And like I said, this I think anyway is a part of the reason why we're seeing these stratospheric warming situations taking place. By the way, this was Dartmoor in Devon a few days ago. A nice little covering of snow, some rime ice to speak about as well. This was some nice images captured by Official Weather UK on Twitter. So we did get a little taste of winter once again. Despite how warm February has been, we have seen temperatures coming closer to average, even slightly below average. Exceptional warmth, minimum temperatures of plus 10 Celsius in the Alps of Switzerland, all-time records fallen, and records dating back to 1887. We're seeing the first -60s, by the way, in Antarctica. This is a tweet by Stefano di Batista, sorry. So we are seeing the temperatures coming down over Antarctica as days grow increasingly short down there. We did see some all-time records falling for 15 stations in the UK in recent days. This is a tweet by Maximiliano, and also initially from Dan Harris in the Met Office, talking about 15 stations within the UK had their warmest February night on record in recent times. So big test coming up with the stratospheric warming situation. We'll keep our eyes on that going forward. This is also a tweet, interesting tweet here by Thierry Goose. -0.3 Celsius in La Esperanza, elevation of 1,700 meters, 700 meters above sea level in Honduras. Lowest temperature in the country in 68 years. So outstanding record warmth, Mexico, Central America, into South America, likely a direct consequence of El Nino. But nonetheless, we have some unusual cold temperatures in some parts as well to counteract the exceptional warming that we have seen in recent times. And I'm pretty sure I had a tweet here by David Birch. Actually, I think I've lost. Bear with me a wee second here, folks. Sorry, let me just skip. Here. This is an interesting couple of tweets here by David Birch. And you can see the Arctic sea ice. Yeah, there's a trend, a lower trend, but you notice here the Arctic sea ice up until what date was this? The 15th of February. Not doing too bad, considering the amount of warmth that we've seen this winter and over the last 12 months. This is actually where the Arctic sea ice extent stands for February 2024. You can see here that we had a very, very low level in 2017. We'll go back to 2006. We also had very low levels also here, and other low levels dating back to the mid-1980s. So Arctic sea ice not doing overly bad considering the level of warmth. And if you look back in years gone by, you notice here that there is not a huge difference between Arctic sea ice in recent times compared to now. It goes on to say that monthly mean sea ice extent in the Arctic since 2007 has had no significant up or down trend, which I think is quite interesting to consider and to see. This is Northern Hemisphere snow and ice cover as of the 18th of February, and you can see the Arctic ice in these blues, Hudson Bay ice, low levels of snow cover across the United States. Even Canada has a couple of gaps, but generally speaking, it is snow covered. Northern portions of the UK, especially over high ground, does have snow as of the 18th. And Scandinavia, with the bitterly cold past 5 months that we've seen here, it looks as if the Baltic Sea, northern portions, but Gulf of Bothnia, very much encased in ice at the moment. But notice the lack of snow cover across Europe and across North America. I think a lot of the warmth over Europe is significantly being affected by how warm the North Atlantic is these days as well, and I think that is having a significant influence. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the coming days to come. Stay tuned here on Marfogan Weather on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Do hope you enjoy the rest of your what's left of your weekend. And be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I will hopefully be back. I'm on the road again tomorrow, visiting my mum and dad in Kirkintilloch. Then we're going to be driving back up to the Highlands. So if there is a video tomorrow and there is a question mark over that, it may be later on Monday evening, tomorrow evening. So stay tuned for that. Like, share, and subscribe. And I'll be back hopefully tomorrow with more. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye for now.